One.
Hey, welcome to this huge review of essentially 10th edition 2.0. We're going to be talking today about the points changes that have just been released by Warhammer 40,000. This is our second of a three-part series where we're discussing all the massive implications from the balanced data slate changes where they've changed the rules. Now we're talking about the points changes of all different units. We've got so much to unpack here, and Michael, I don't know how I feel about this.
You're a bit sad, aren't you?
This is possibly the worst aspect I've ever seen of a points data slate change.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that. But anyway, therefore I'm going to have some pretty strong opinions. I'm going to shed some tears today, but I'm hopefully going to remain positive at the end.
Please remember, Stephen Box's opinions do not represent the opinions of Vanguard Tactics Limited as a whole.
Good disclaimer.
Thank you.
But they do. Anyway, so we're looking at balance. When we're talking about balance, Michael, we're thinking about internal balance, where we want to make sure that every unit is an option, where you don't feel like you are forced to buy certain models because of the rules that they have. And then you've got external balance, which is, well, how do they compare against other armies so that we can have fun, fair games?
Absolutely.
And get our models onto the table.
As many of them as we can.
And the ones that we've spent time, energy, and effort painting, we can use. Okay? Right. So the first faction...
Adeptus Sororitas.
Yes.
You like the Sisters Battle, don't you?
I do, Michael, and I've had lots of fun playing the Adepta Sororitas for the last 4 months.
I think aren't you working on a new army of them?
Yes, I've been spending a long time painting these models.
Okay.
And they've just had a brand new codex that I was really happy about.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you must be very excited then.
Not when I saw this.
Okay. There's a lot of red on this MFM, which means a lot of points have gone up.
Now, okay, the codex is strong. The codex is good.
Yeah.
The codex was, for the first time, I felt really excited to try all the different detachments. I've had so much fun using my Adeptus Sororitas army in Index.
Well, yeah.
And I was really excited to play Adeptus Sororitas.
Well, you've had 2 games with the Codex. I mean, that's enough, right?
So what I liked about my Index army was that it was very different compared to anybody else's. I'm going to have to get this out of my system and then we'll move on to the other factions. But everything is up to the point where I feel like, personally, this is my own view, this is an overreaction. This is an overreaction.
As in your point of view is an overreaction, or the points?
No, I think the points are an overreaction.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I'm struggling here, Michael.
I can see that.
My list lost 500 points.
Wow.
From the Index.
That's a lot.
500 points of my army is gone.
That's a lot.
That's a quarter.
Okay.
It's gone.
Well, I've got the old MFM here, because obviously they've done the points based on the Codex.
Yeah.
So I figured I'll have the old one, we'll have a look, and if there's any really significant ones, you've probably memorised all these.
I have.
Because you've lost sleep and it's constantly going through your brain. But what's happened?
Well, I didn't want to play Warhammer when I saw this. I just wanted to quit.
You never want to play Warhammer.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. Combat cards, I've been playing a lot of that.
Oh,
Luckily, they got a new patch update and Morven Vowels on there killing it.
Very
anyway, my point is, okay, so we need to consider when we're thinking about, especially a new codex, and we're going to have the same conversation when we get to Genestealer Cult, is new rules mean potentially new points. Because if the abilities have changed, then obviously they need a change in what that looks like. So Astra Thurga, huge increase, up to 85, but yeah, probably rightly so because it gives you devastating wounds on all your ranged attacks.
Yeah.
Valid. 85 points for 2 characters is probably okay. Arco-Flagellants, they've lost Twin Linked and a Feel No Pain of a 4+, yet their points have remained the same. That I'm unsure about.
Yeah. They've gone down 10, according to my thing, for 10. So,
Okay.
But again, that's not very much.
No.
So we'll see.
Battle Sisters up 15 points, I believe. Yeah. Again, not probably needed when the datasheet change is a slight nerf rather than an increase.
I agree with that one, yeah.
The Jump Pack Canoness, 75 points, is I think 5 points cheaper than a Captain, Space Marine Captain.
Yeah, 10.
10 points,
Yeah.
okay. So probably fine then.
Okay.
It's got some pretty cool rules. The Castigator looks good at 150
Yeah.
because it's had a bit of a glow up.
Yeah.
I would say it's just a little bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The Sacrosancts gained an attack.
Okay, so they actually went up 30 points for 10.
Okay.
And they've got an extra attack each. So I suppose with the buff in the Codex power and an extra attack, maybe that's justifiable. We'll have to put them on the table and see, I think.
I think they're one unit that I might actually play now. Like, I feel like their points didn't need to go up, or maybe slightly,
Yeah.
but I think they're probably at the place where you might look at them now. Demonifuge I didn't feel like needed to go up because they didn't really... They went down in the last one, in the last data slate.
Yeah.
They've gone back up again.
Yeah.
They didn't really gain a huge amount more to, I think, warrant it. Exorcists. Now, is there a change to indirect fire in this game?
There is a change to indirect fire, yes.
I think it's worth covering that now.
Agreed. So indirect fire is still -1 to hit. It still gives them cover, but any of your unmodified 1s to 3s are always going to fail to hit.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you've got heavy, extra ballistic skill, whatever, 1, 2 or 3 always fails.
Yeah.
Indirect.
The Exorcist has gone up in points. I feel like that probably could have come down.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 10 from what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
The book itself is inherently more powerful. So I'm just going to expect at least 10 on every unit. But that's just me looking at new book, more options, stronger.
Yeah,
but
but
I can certainly feel...
We've got to think about the detachments, right? In like, do any of the detachments help the Exorcist? And there's only really one that gives you +1 to hit
Yeah,
when you're under starting strength. In that, you're not going to get any benefit from.
that's true.
You're not really going to be advancing these ones up the table and shooting them directly.
I don't know what the old rule for them was, but they've got like a deadly demise on fires and battle shocks now, haven't they?
Yeah, so you make any unit that you explode
Right.
deadly demise on a 5+.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very situational.
Yeah.
The Hospital has gone up, okay, 50 points,
Okay.
sure. A Magify up 65 might be a little bit too much, but
+30.
it's like over double. The Immolator going, it says 115 here. I believe that's the same.
It is the same.
Yeah, because this is what's up from the Codex in terms of red, not what's actually up from last time we played Sisters. The Immolator, I think, has a slight lateral nerf. It's slightly quicker, though.
Yeah.
Movement 12 is a bit better, but you're not getting those full rerolls to wound as you come out. Junif stayed the same. The Priest is up. Mortifiers are up significantly. Now, the Mortifiers gained a slight change on their rule, which is good. It's a bit. All the weapons are much cleaner now. It was really confusing between Mortifiers and Penitent engines. How much are they there?
So it's 110 for 2.
And this is 140, so another 30-point increase.
Yeah.
Again, I think somewhere between would have been about right.
Yeah.
Morvian Val's at 160 is probably right for her.
Yep, so she's up 15, yeah.
I think she's good, especially with her increases now. Paragon Warsuit's at 210. It says it's not gone up.
It's 40 points up on the previous MFM.
Because now that package of Morvian Val and Paragon Warsuits is 370 points.
It's a lot of points in one basket.
If you lose that turn 1, you can pretty much kiss goodbye to the game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That is such a huge amount of points there. And I think they gained a point of toughness, really, which kept them alive.
Yes, yeah, agreed.
If they'd have gained an extra wound, might have been maybe relevant. But I think I don't know if I'm taking Morvian Val and Paragon Warsuits anymore.
It's a tough one, right? Because previously you could take that brick, you could take something like the Triumph, you could take Celestine, but now you really have to look at maybe one of the big characters in a Sisters list. Yeah.
Penitent engines up to 150 for 2.
Yep, so that's up 40 points for the Penitent engines.
Yeah, and although Prius Nexus has helped slightly with the way that Bring It Down has worked, you don't hemorrhage so many points anymore. There's only really one detachment that helps the Penitent engines out.
Yeah.
And I think I think this is where Sisters have really been punished, is there are some strong detachments that lean into certain keywords. And to some extent, I feel like they're being priced at that keyword for that detachment, which internally is terrible. It's a terrible internal balance when that happens.
It's an unfortunate side effect, I think, of the way detachments work. If you're going to make a detachment push a certain unit that has a certain keyword to another level, then you're going to have to balance with points to price that unit out of any other detachment. And the only other way is to change the detachment itself.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult one.
I feel like detachments should have a slight buff for everything, and then maybe a little bit extra for a certain keyword.
Yeah, I think that would be a better way to go.
A little bit smoother gradient rather than just being so polarizing.
I think the Space Marine detachments are actually a really good offering for that, because they never had like keyword restrictions. So yeah, maybe that's a better example to follow.
Yeah. Or maybe you've got like 2 strats that are good for you, but 4 are still relevant for the army.
Yeah.
Because this is the one that hurts me probably most. This is my favourite unit, is the Repentia. And they're now at 180 points for essentially 10 models, but 9 of them only work, because one lady's got some whips.
Yeah, that's a 70-point increase.
I don't think these are ever going to see the table at 180 points. You need a Rhino, which I know you get other use out of a Rhino, but you still need to take one.
Yeah.
Overwatch nukes this unit pretty considerably. And the issue with Sisters at toughness 3 with 1 wound is that all your piddly shots that you don't normally bother shooting, pickup models.
Yeah, your pistols.
Stormbolters, las guns, they're all actually pretty effective. So what are you actually killing? So Repentia are pretty much killing what I would say they used to in the index at 110.
Yeah.
The change of their rule is slightly better, but I wouldn't say the change in the rule is making them kill an extra 70 points worth.
No, I think the issue here, and we've said it already, the detachment is too strong for the unit, and it's forcing the unit to be points hiked in order to make up for the detachment being too good.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. I think Retribute's going up to 125. Again, like the...
Yeah. Bringers of Flame +1 strength, I guess, and stuff.
Yeah, it's tough because I've often seen them do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And now the way that their rule has changed, where you have to wait for the kill, your opponent has to kill something to get their rerolls, they're no longer very good as an Alpha Strike unit. So you can't just get out the immolator and get your full rerolls to wound.
Yeah.
You need to wait for that unit to kill something. So if you've got like, you're up against something like Angron, and you needed all the reroll wounds in the world to try and take him down, and some of them would just not hit because you're only wounding on 5s. Hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, 8 shots.
Yeah.
Sure, you can miracle dice some manipulation, but turn 1 you don't have many.
It definitely changes the way that you use them. They're no longer that you can take vehicles out. The main issue you have here is actually transports.
Yeah.
Because if you're facing opponents' transports, you don't really have the units to deal with them.
Yeah.
And even melters are only strength, 8?
In those rhinos, your opponent's
9?
rhinos ain't killing your units, are they?
Exactly, right? So Angron, sure, after a turn you might kill something, maybe even the rhino that you're in.
Yeah.
But other units, even if they're softening you up, you're not going to get anything against them.
Like the Seraphim, the squads of 5 going up to 85 points.
Yeah.
I think it's probably okay because there's a cool detachment that helps them slightly. The Initiates Novitiates, they gain infiltrate, so they're 100 point for an infiltrating unit is probably about right.
Fair enough.
The Triumph going up 190.
She does give you that 6 every turn. She's gone up 50 from the MFM. And I think they changed some of her aura abilities, right? Like extra AP and stuff. So that'll be one we'll have to keep an eye on.
Yeah. She could be at the right points.
Yeah.
She could be because of how strong she can be. Yeah. But when you do take a unit now at 190, if we're pointing up all the units because they can use miracle dice, and then you're pointing up the thing that gives you it, did you need to do one or just both? And I think that's where we've got to.
Yeah.
This is my biggest gripe: is the Seraphim. At 10 models is 180 points.
Yeah. The Zephyrim have gone up 60 for 10.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see much in competitive play. I would love to be wrong, and I'm going to really try my best to, we've put a list together where I can really start to divulge this. But
yeah, they struggle without a character support piece. 90 points, can they kill 90 points of an equivalent unit?
Yeah. Like
5 assault intercessors? No. Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
And if you really need all the strat support for it, then actually, you got some problems, haven't you?
Yeah. No, exactly that. So I think for me, it was a tough pill to swallow. When you're so excited to play a particular faction because you've got some really cool changes, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I can't even put I can't feel like I'm, putting on the models that I spent a long time painting onto the table at that points cost.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'm going to have to wait
until
the meta shakes out and they realise that maybe they're too strong. Mr. Morden super chatted only $2, so I'm not reading that one out. And he's slagging me off, so yeah.
Sorry, Stephen, but good riddance, sisters. Good job, GW. I read it out for you, don't worry.
I'm going to report. Put user in timeout. Hide user on channel. I'm not added to the moderator.
Don't do that. That's ridiculous.
Crazy. Right, I'm going to put you in timeout, Mr. Morden, if you're not careful. Any more comments like that? Right. Okay. Cool. So, yeah. What do you think in the chat? Too much? Do you think? Too little? Let me know. Yeah. What do we think, people? Put a poll in. Was the sisters increase right? Yeah.
Yeah. Enhancements. Did they have any enhancements changes?
Points-wise? Most of them have gone up. All the Hollowed Martyrs ones have gone up. The Penitent Host one is certainly gone up as well.
So 6s every turn is now 30 points. And actually, on stream you had an Imagifier with it, so the total that's like up by like 40 odd points.
No, it's up by. Well, it went up 35 points.
Yes.
And now it's up another.
I think it's maybe 10. I think it's 10.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Before.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah.
So it's I would have preferred for that enhancement to be tweaked rules-wise, so that you have to be within 12 inches of the unit that was destroyed. Makes it a bit more interactive.
Or once per phase.
Once per phase. Yeah.
Once per phase is probably enough, because otherwise your character's going to die far too quickly. I think it's an overreaction, and I think this is where it didn't help that they came out at the same time as Genestealer Cult.
No, double codex releases do have that knock-on effect of you look at one, you compare it to the other immediately. Yeah. And then it sort of fuels the fires of, disappointment. Yeah, because you've got Genestealer Cult were very strong quite some time ago, and they've had some overall nerfs. Sisters mechanically didn't function particularly well. They were relying on a little weird gimmicks like Crusader units and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I think it's a shame because when they both come out, everyone cries that Sisters is absolutely smashed Genestealer Cult. We had the same with Votann when they came out. Everyone cried for an overreaction. Yeah. I remember when Mortarion first ever came out, the internet went mad. And I remember being asked a question by somebody, and they said, "Hey, did we do too much on this?" And I said, "No, I think it's fine. I think Mortarion is okay. Let's let the community. Let's get some data back first. Before we have like knee-jerk reactions." And obviously, it's not going to feel great having your army have points increases before you even really get to use it. Yeah. But I think we can agree they needed some. Just whether they went too far or not, time will tell.
I think if my list would have lost 250 points. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. And then you go from there. But 500?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and if there's an issue with the detachment, then that's a detachment issue.
Agreed.
Not a, because then the internal balance is crazy. Yeah. Okay, so up next, Custodes. So we've mostly got changes to the Forge World units.
That's right.
Which I think they needed, definitely.
They definitely needed. The one I want to highlight the most is actually the Venatari. So if we scroll down, our Venatari now 165 points for 3.
And they were looking pretty good. They were like on the cusp of being playable, I think, before. Because, some of the stratagems that you could use with them.
They have free rapid ingress, even if somebody else has already used it. And because it's named as rapid ingress, you still get that despite the new balance data slate.
That's pretty cool.
I love that unit, and I think you're going to see it in lists now.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, it's a shame you don't have a shield captain with jump pack.
We've been blessed, thankfully, with the new shield captain on foot. Yes, who is superb and as tall. A model and so tall and menacing. Yeah.
Why don't you give him a jump pack?
Oh my god. Yeah.
I might do that. Just give him a jump pack.
Give him a jump pack. Yeah. Give him the bird wings. Give him a big beard.
I think this is good. I think on the whole, now the biggest change as well for Custodes when we get onto the new rules is how devastating wounds have changed. Yes. So with also all the changes to they're going to be interesting now. I think they're going to be interesting to see where they shake out. Yeah. And annoyingly, I'm actually more excited about playing Custodes than I am Sisters.
Well then, we'll have to see that on stream.
Yeah, so I think they've got some play. But this is another massive change. AdMech, not performing faction as it stands. Everything's gone up, Michael. Yes. So, do we think then, it depends on how much they've gone up.
Yes, it does.
Because obviously we've just gone over all of their rules in the previous part for this. And they have got some very cool changes.
They have, yeah. So what we see here is all of the units that now have gained their doctrine ability have gone up.
Okay.
All of the battle line has gone up.
Yeah.
And all of the units that had their weapons changed have also gone up.
Okay.
So, the Ballistari had double the shots now on their weapons. The Rust Stalkers got extra attacks. All these units have rightly been affected.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
hang on a minute. Why are the robots gone up?
I guess because the doctrines are much better.
And there's one.
So in that one detachment, again, it's the detachment issue.
This is the problem. This is the detachment issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge issue with the detachment system. Yeah.
But I think they're still looking very spicy, despite all the red. Ballistari at 70 points for now 4 autocannon shots with sustained, or 2 las cannon shots with sustained. It's good. And hitting on 3s, obviously, or having an extra AP and advance and shoot. I think there's a lot there. I don't think it's worth us diving down into the actual changes, because we don't really know how to justify those with these sweeping changes from the balanced data slate.
Yeah, Alex said sister schematics, that's all I always say.
Sister Schmister.
Oh, sister Schmister, okay, cool. Schematics would have been better.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my dyslexia for you. Right, okay, cool. So it's going to be interesting, I think. I can't wait to get Admech on the channel to see how they perform now.
Mm-hmm, yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Did they need the points increases? I don't know.
Well, we'll find out, I suppose.
Yeah. Maybe their increase weren't enough.
Maybe they need to go even more.
We'll see how strong it is. We're not going to cover Adeptus Titanicus, but we are going to cover Aeldari.
Okay.
Right, so Phoenix Lords generally are down. Ajuman, Janezar, Karandras, Mugman Ra. Is Fugan down?
Mugman Ra.
He's a mug. Fugan didn't go down. Good. I'm pretty happy about that. He's a weapon.
Your boy Azuman went down, nice.
Yeah, I think 115 for him might be okay. Karandras down to 90. Yeah. He'll probably get his points back. So on the whole, okay. Now what's gone up though? Dark Reapers have gone up.
These are a puzzling one for me all the time, but I'm sure there's reasons. It's probably the indirect from the Exarch's gun.
You mean the one that's just been nerfed?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, right? But they ignore all modifiers, but they don't ignore the fact that a 1 to 3 always fails.
Yeah.
So it's a strange one, right? I also think that 170, even though you only get 1 Exarch, I actually think all of the what are they called? Warriors. The aspect. That's it. You got me. Yeah. Aspect warriors. Their 10s should cost less than their 5s in terms of per model, because you only get 1 Exarch.
And they're the good ones.
And they're the good ones, right?
Yeah, so they get much better weapons.
I would have loved to see that applicated here.
Yeah. Fire Dragons up. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they were seeing a fair bit of competitive play. At least 1 unit in every list.
I think Fire Dragons are the ones... I mean, you compare a Fire Dragon to a Sister of Battle now, or Repentia, Retributors.
Yeah.
Let's not compare them to Repentia, completely different. But I feel like with Fire Dragons, it's only 5 shots. You don't always kill a vehicle. And especially with even a little bit of Overwatch, 1 heavy bolter.
Yeah.
Get that sustained 6, you've got 2 hits, pretty much both wound, and you'll probably lose 2 models. So, I feel like that's a mechanic that isn't often thought about, is for these toughness 3 armies.
Yeah.
Overwatch, and how brutal that can be.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like playing T3 armies. Sometimes you've got to chuck a unit out, knowing it's going to get overwatched. And you're like, cool, that's just a bunch of points now, goes over there. So now I can actually use these other units. So it's like a tax of, take away their Overwatch potential.
It's difficult to balance, right? Because what if you play Orks? They're not going to Overwatch you. So you don't have to think about that points difference. It's very difficult to...
It is when you got...
to balance that.
That's why I hate Overwatch.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Let's get rid of Overwatch. That would help out a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Right. Swooping Hawks are up. Okay, they're up again.
Fine.
Warp Spiders up again.
I mean, they are ridiculous. The other thing I think about Warp Spiders is the new mission pack, where actions have changed. I think their sort of teleporty move is still a normal move. Yeah.
You change their movement characteristic.
Yeah,
so it's not an advanced move.
No, so they can still do an action after moving 20 inches or so.
Yeah.
And
also engage in all front is changed, which plays into Eldar pretty well. So Skyweavers have gone up, which Skyweavers, when they go off, are very, very strong.
Yeah, that anti-vehicle was gross.
Yeah, Yvraine at 125, probably justified. She was very good at killing infantry. So yeah, Shadow Spectres up again.
Just double the points of them. I don't want to see them anywhere. Okay, I'm absolutely sick of units that can shoot and then move as an inherent unit ability. I don't mind Seraphim, because they've got to be really close, and their guns aren't that incredible, but Shadow Spectres, my God.
They hit hard, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Swooping Hawks being 85, yeah, okay, fine. Uppy Downy is pretty good for them.
Do you think this impacts Aeldari overall in the competitive scene?
Not really. I don't think any. I would have maybe liked to seen some other drops, to be honest.
Would love to see Guardians drop.
Yeah.
Would have been really nice.
How much are 10 Guardians?
Where are they? Storm Guardians are 100. Guardian Defenders might be under Fugan. There they are. 100 as well.
Can you really drop them much lower than 100 though?
A Dire Avengers battle line?
No.
That's a shame.
That is a real shame, actually.
Oh, you know what I'd love to see?
What's
Balanced
that?
data slate. If you take a Phoenix Lord, their units become battle line. Now that would make the army much cooler.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
You would actually have a bit of a play there. So, Wind Riders, we don't really see much of them on the table.
No.
I don't know. It's a strange one because so much of Aeldari rules have changed as well.
Yeah.
They're clinging on to certain units performing well, like
the
the Autarch Wayleaper, Double Fire Prism.
Yeah.
Agents of the Imperium, no changes on points at all.
Not even the Calidus.
No.
So maybe they're waiting to see how that balanced data slate change works.
And we covered their change on the last one, basically, yeah. Someone said they've just painted up their Venatari. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Right, nice. Cool. So, how many people we got watching at the minute, Seb?
620.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is fantastic. Let us know what you think of these review videos. Okay, now, this is a faction I don't know too much about in regards to, although I played it last night. You love it. Astra Militarum, Michael. How do you feel about these points decreases?
I think they might be a bit unjustified because Guard are doing pretty okay anyway. So if we've taken a hit from the balanced data slate. We can't bring those units back all the time, but we also got thrown out lethal hits everywhere through the balanced data slate as well. Right?
How many times were you bringing a unit back, though?
3 or 4 times a game.
Were you just spending that one stratagem?
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you could do the other one for free with Creed, which was an extra AP. That's also a nerf.
Okay.
Because it was a 2 CP battle tactic. And what you'll generally find is across the board, if you were relying on a 2 CP battle tactic, then you've been hit. Because it's going to cost you 1 CP regardless.
Yeah.
So Creed's role has changed a bit.
Did Sentinels need to come down?
Probably not. I would actually argue that at that points cost, that's the unit that you bring back with the reinforcement stratagem. Because they are regiment.
Unless you're sort of going for some secret mission. Because Chris did that yesterday to me. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's great.
Right. I'm not happy about this.
What, the Basilisk?
Why has that gone down?
Right, so the justification here is, as we said earlier, indirect, 1, 2, and 3 misses.
Yeah, I get that.
Guard tanks could get to 2s, but actually what you're looking at now is you don't give orders to your tanks, your indirect, because they're just going to hit on 4s anyway.
Why has my Exorcist gone up, though? Come on, Michael.
Because you got Miracle Dice or something, right?
It's because I got big old organs, mate.
Big old organs. That's something I'm never going to want to say ever again. The Death Strike Field Ordnance Battery went down. That's nice. Might actually run one. That had indirect. Manticore had indirect. That's gone down 2. Cassigan went down 10, which I'm a big fan of because you can't keep bringing them back now.
Yeah. Rogel Dawn down to 240. You're a Rogel Dawn fan, Michael. You're a double Dawner.
I'm a double Dawner.
You're a double D, is what they say.
I am a double D.
How do you feel about
that? Unjustified. Completely unjustified.
Because you just gained lethal as well?
In my professional opinion.
Is it regiment?
It's squadron. So it's got lethal on all of its shots against monsters and vehicles, which is fantastic.
You just gained that?
I've just gained that.
You've just gained it?
I've literally just gained that.
And you haven't took a nerf because you couldn't bring this thing back anyway?
No.
Okay. How many points has it gone down?
20.
You're joking me, right?
And this thing is insane. I mean, I personally think it's insane. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see them more on the table, but I don't really think it was justified. I think the Rogal Dawn was good anyway. 240 points for basically a better Land Raider. It's a lot.
Yeah, and you don't even need to paint the bottom of it.
No, because it doesn't have one. You're
exactly.
Right. Not that I paint the bottom of my vehicles anyway.
So, I feel like you've got a very lightly there.
Yeah.
What do people think? Are Guard going to be the new hotness? Are the Guard the biggest winners from this balanced data slate?
The good thing is, though, is you do kind of lean a little bit more away from the indirect.
Oh no.
And a bit more to the stuff on the table.
Oh no, Michael.
But you, well, technical errors. But you can still take the indirect. Right. In fact, you can take more now because you're not relying on giving them orders.
Great.
So that is a little bit disconcerting.
Great.
And
all the points you've saved, you can probably take some more.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Or a third Rogal Dawn.
Great. I love terrain and not using it. Right, so let's talk about Black Templars.
I think there's something important to cover before we do the points here.
What do you want to cover?
So in the Space Marines FAQ,
yeah,
if you take Black Templars as your chapter, then you are not allowed to include any Psyker units in your army. You also...
What?
I know, Steve, you'll be devastated.
How can I enrage the internet now?
You also cannot include any Space Marine units that have a Black Templars equivalent, like the Black Templars Impulsor, for example. And this applies to any detachment that you take if you're playing Black Templars. So yes, it's enough.
Yeah, but not only that, Reapers and Valiants have gone up.
170 points.
Yes.
For Reapers and Valiants that are normally 150.
Yeah.
For Space Marines, I think that is too much, especially since you can't repeat them. What I will say though is I'm not sure how the tandem works with Ironstorm because obviously Ironstorm's taken it too.
Well, this is what I think. I think everybody was running Black Templars as Ironstorm. I really feel for all the people that just wanted to play Righteous Crusade. Even I felt forced to not take Righteous Crusade and take Gladius. I wouldn't, I took Ironstorm 1 to an event, and I was just like, this is... But I had a bit of everything. I had some Dreadnoughts in,
9 Gladiators.
I still had Sword Brethren and stuff because I was trying to make use of the crit stratagem, but for like Helbrecht and things. But because of Ironstorm just massively made all these tanks so efficient with lethal, sustained, mercy as weakness, that warranted a points increase. But now that being taken away, I think they could have left the points as they were. And then put the change in of... Yeah. I genuinely think it's right that if you're a Black Templars, you have to take a Black Templar vehicle.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But list construction now is going to be so hard for Black Templars players. Because before you could be like, well, I'll just... do you really need to take a Gladius Lancer, a Gladiator Black Templars one? What's that Melty Melter doing at 72-inch range? Nothing.
It comes with the kit, mate, the Black Templars upgrade kit, so... Got to stick it on there.
You got to just stick it on.
You just got to stick it on, mate. So
I do feel for the Black Templars players here. I do. I feel unjustified.
Yeah. Unjustified. So I'm of the opinion that actually all vehicles in the game could probably go up 10 points each, just to try and balance the vehicle to infantry ratio anyway. But it is what it is.
Right. Blood Angels. Nothing.
No changes whatsoever.
You can blame Jordan for that, for obviously doing so well.
With his recent 4-1s at Super Majors, he's making sure Blood Angels don't get any points drops. Yeah.
Well done, Jord. Good work.
Good work.
Yeah. And also, you are doing very well, Jordan. I wouldn't tell this to your face, but you might be watching. You're probably working.
He's smashing it.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well. Michael. You know all those Chaos Demon changes we spoke about and how they might be really, really good now?
Yeah.
Why have they got loads of points drops?
I don't know. On all the units.
So why has Be'lakor come down?
Well, I guess now everybody has this shadow aura, so that's their justification. Actually, it's quite nice to see him come down because I think competitively people started taking him a lot less.
Why Nurglings come down?
So that's for the repeated units. I actually like this change.
Yeah, I know. I thought this was a great idea.
But at the same time, Nurglings shouldn't be 40 anyway.
No.
For 3. That -1 to hit aura, deep strike, infiltrate. I don't care that they're OC0. They're going to still score behind enemy lines or area denial. 40 points is just way too cheap for that unit.
The effectiveness of an infiltrating unit should, I think, just have a standard, this is what it is worth.
Like your Novitiates. They went up 15 to 20 points. Stick that on a unit.
Because a 10 lady unit on 30, like 28 mil bases spread out. And realistically, you don't spread it out anyway. You put it in a ruin.
Yeah.
Pretty much, your infiltrating aura is the size of the ruin that you've put it in. That's the effective use of it, isn't it? And Nurglings do that very, very well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they should probably be 60 points for 3.
Yeah, I would have liked to see their aura change to only affect friendly demons units.
Yes.
So -1 to hit against Legiones Demonica.
Yeah.
Rather than just -1 to hit against everybody. Because like if you're playing against knights, little Nurglings crawling up inside their bits, making a -1 to hit can be a bit silly.
Yeah. Or maybe they're crawling up on your bits, and that's the problem.
Maybe that's the issue, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want Nurglings on my bits.
You don't. Right, Chaos Knights.
Yes.
I haven't actually looked at these changes. This is quite interesting.
So can we just quickly go back to Chaos Demons? Because I didn't really cover the general points decreases. So lots of big things went down. Bloodthirst is down. Skull Cannon, Soul Grinder's down.
Demon Princes.
Demon Princes are all down. Great. Demonette's 100 now. Yeah. That's quite spicy. Fiend's down. Fate Skimmer down. But actually a lot of it kind of stayed the same.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to see how that... Because that detachment rule and the datasheet rule for Shadow is really good. Yeah,
I genuinely feel like demons are in a place where they could do very well now.
Yeah.
So it is going to be interesting to see how they shake out. And the thing is, we don't see a huge amount of demon armies on the table.
No.
So it's hard to really understand their impact. So we might see a whole new wave of people playing demons. And then I think these numbers will become a little bit more relevant.
Yeah.
To see how, were they justified or not. So, yeah, okay, cool. But no, I think some pretty exciting things there for demon players. Chaos Knights then. Obviously, Chaos Knights can now walk through walls if you're big, and the Abominant has come down, the Despoilers come down, the Cerastus variants have come down, and then, yeah.
Yeah, some of the Forge-World big boys are down as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and we can walk through walls.
What do you think? Lord of Dread looks like it's down as well in terms of an enhancement.
Yeah, I mean, that one's okay. So, yeah, you didn't really see it anyway.
Okay. So it's not down enough for you to take it?
I don't think you would really, no. Yeah, Abominant down is nice. 385 actually for an Abominant is quite an interesting points price. Yeah.
You're going to put one in your list?
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
So maybe not enough then?
Not enough. I think the problem that we have is that because we can only pick 2 to 3 big knights, realistically, because we need board presence, you have to pick which one you think is going to help you the most.
Right.
And I don't know that the Abominant does. I mean, it's a difficult one. I don't think I've played Chaos Knights enough to give a really valid opinion on this.
Yeah, and I haven't played against them enough either to know.
Especially not with a big boy on the table. It's usually War Dogs, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm used to playing against is like 13 War Dogs, yeah. It'll be nice to see them back on the table though, some bigger knights. So hopefully these decreases are enough to sort of tempt people. Right, here we go. Chaos Space Marines. There's a lot of red here, and I think a lot of it is probably justified.
Yeah.
There's a few that I disagree with, personally.
I'm not happy.
I don't think Havocs...
no.
Didn't need to go up.
They went up 15 points.
Probably...
And it's just 5 Space Marines.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Their weapons that they can take aren't amazing. They're okay, but they're not incredible.
Yeah. What probably is the issue is the Reaper Chain Cannon. Because it kind of skews their output to like 32 attacks with Dark Pacts is a lot.
But that's an issue with the way that we've got these... Some weapons cost something. Like, can you take 4 heavy bolters in your unit?
You can.
You're never doing that though, Michael, are you? Because heavy bolters are terrible.
No, agreed.
Yeah, like you're not doing it.
No.
So a unit of Havoc heavy bolters should probably be 100 points.
Yeah, agreed.
Maybe they're free. Maybe you get the Havocs for free because it's an impedance for you rolling those dice.
Yeah.
When was the last time you took a missile launcher? You didn't, Michael, did you?
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that everything's rolled in. It's simpler, I suppose, but yeah. At least in some of the more different datasheet options, they're different datasheets now. So, like the Predators obviously have different datasheets for the different weapons.
Yeah.
It's a shame there's not a bit more of that.
Curse Cowboy has said, not sure Bellacor's still worth it, but love the freedom we've now to bring back big monsters like Bloodthirsters and Deep Strike unit Bloodletters onto an objective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's very exciting.
Yeah, Curse Cowboy as well. Thank you for all your support as well. I really, really appreciate it. But yeah. Discussing Resilient Podcast has said, please can you explain to me why the Basilisk went down and the Exis went up and the PBC is still 180? Aiden, I'm with you, all right? I'm with you. I agree. I can't believe the Basilisk went down. I can't even believe the Plague Burst Crawler still stayed the same. That should have went up.
I mean...
that was a joke.
Oh, okay.
That was a joke, Michael.
Right, yes.
All right.
Yeah, no,
I'm
just guard.
Just trying.
Hate them.
Yeah.
Can't stand them.
Cool. So, but no, I do agree with that. Right, Predators, Annihilators and Destructors going up to 140.
I agree. They could probably go up a bit more.
They're about the same as the Castigator,
I think the
aren't they?
Annihilator probably should be cheaper, because you don't really see the Annihilator, but you do see the Destructor a lot.
Yeah. Curse Cult is going up.
They did get Scout.
Yes, and
Blood Surge move.
Yeah.
Blood Surge, so fair enough.
Yeah, Vindicator's gone up, which everyone was taking.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gone up a huge amount, has it?
No, just 10 points.
Yeah, it's probably fine. Raptors, why are they gone up?
Absolutely disgusted at whoever decided to put Raptors up 5 points.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm taking, it's the same point of a Wand Wound Seraphim.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I could even kill.
Well,
I might battle shock you, but...
Well, I don't think I can kill you. Basically, what we should just do is 30 Raptors versus 30 Zephyrin. It'll be the longest game ever. Nothing would die.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think they needed to go up. Legionaries going up is probably fine as 90 points. They're very good. Fair. They get reroll wounds, don't they, on objective?
Yeah.
Warp Talons. What were they?
110.
So they've got up 25 points for 5.
And with the balance data slate, have to kill something to leave the board.
110.
I'm not happy about this. I think this is far too much.
Agreed.
Because even opportunistic raiders from the Renegade Raiders, that stratagem for leaving, doesn't work anymore.
No.
You have to kill something.
Yeah.
Right, so any other detachment that wants to take Warp Talons, 135 points for 5 Marines, I'm not sold. No. And it's a real shame, because I love the Dread Talons detachment and I really want to run jump pack units, but actually I can't really justify Warp Talons.
So you feel how I feel about systems?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It's sad. It's a sad day for Warhammer.
It is a sad day.
Yeah, because you can't take your warp, you can't take yours, and I can't take mine.
No.
Let's take them off.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Venom Crawler going up.
I don't really... Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad day, mate.
Yeah,
I don't think the Warp Talons needed to go up all the Raptors, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing that.
I could have seen 120 maybe with the Warp Talons.
Right. Dark Angels. Deathwing Knights up to 235. What were they? So they now, if you haven't tuned in for the other one, why not? You should have watched that first, because that was part 1. This is part 2. So it's like watching a movie halfway through, or just watching the second one and going, oh, should we go to the cinema? Just go and watch the first one first on Netflix, then go to the cinema and watch the second one. It just makes sense, right? So pause it, go back, come here. I don't know what you want to do.
So they've gone up 20 points.
20 points.
But I think that's fair, because they've got their AP increased, they've got their weapons are better. So...
But we never saw them.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, the detachment got slightly better.
But you can't really do it based on detachment, can you? That's the problem.
No.
So maybe they didn't need an increase? Because regular Terminators haven't changed, have they?
No. Maybe. Because I feel like their weapons before were just wet noodles they were trying to fight with. So maybe it's just... I don't think it needed to happen, personally.
Maybe not. They're, 55 points more than regular Deathwing Terminators?
I mean, I don't even play Dark Angels, but I still agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that could just stay the same. But there we go, they're up. So Dark Angel players, you're going to have to suck it up, just like me and Michael are with our factions.
Just take Inner Circle Companions instead, because they've literally stayed the same, even though they're way, way better.
They're super cool now.
So yeah, definitely look at those.
Ravenwing Dark Shroud.
Good. It's gone up.
Good.
Probably could have gone up more, if I'm honest.
It should have gone up in the last data slate.
You should have. It was the problem.
It was, because it made all your Iron Storms basically have smoke for freezies.
Yeah.
That should have gone up last time.
Agreed.
And now it's gone up, and you're like, well, now Iron Storm's not such a thing. You can't take...
Yeah.
Anyway, and there's lots more of the Space Marines changes that are going to affect the Iron Storm detachment.
Yeah.
But hey, it's up, so... I think 115 for the bit of kit that is probably fine. Even just the amount of wounds it is for 100 points and the ability it kicks out. So yeah, I disagree with one change, agree with the other.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Right, Death Guard. Right, Aiden's in the chat. So Aiden, help us out here from your expertise, please. From the Disgusting Resilient podcast. The Putrefier has gone up to 60 points.
Okay, yeah. It's not the fight first guy. This is the guy with the flamer. It's the grenade guy, is it? I think it's the grenade guy. Yeah, it's the grenade guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gave you lethals and crits on 5s, I think, which is quite good.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Lethal 5s, yeah. Blight Lord Terminators are down.
Yeah, they're terrible. So actually, you could probably drop them more. So they're basically like Terminators, but with damage 1 weapons.
Oh,
and they move 4 inches. So.
Well, like the Dark Angels ones used to be.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that bad.
But yeah.
They got wet noodles as well.
They're shocking. So I'm not even sure that puts them in lists. I don't know. Maybe Aiden can shed a bit of light on that.
Aiden, are you taking Blight Lord Terminators now? Let us know. David Irving said he's crying he can't use his PBCs. He can use them, just not very well. Okay, you still can. Just like me, I can. Oh, I can't even use my models. They're just so expensive. They don't even fit in an army. It's like I'm running a Titan now. Right, so Foulblight Spawn.
The Foulblight Spawn.
So I'm right from Wiltshire, me, and I'm going to be taking the Foulblight Spawn at 60 points is up.
Well, he gives you fight first.
Okay.
With Plague Marines, which are also battle line. I mean, yeah, sure. It's not that big an increase, so
probably okay. Malefic Blight Haulers are down.
Yeah, good. You never really saw them. They're the little 3-tracked...
With a rocket launcher and a multi-melter for 90 points.
It'd be nice to see them.
Yep.
You got the Bellboy.
He's down.
He's down, good. I don't know that you could take him, though.
No.
But he's my favourite Death Guard model.
Because he's got a bell.
Because he just looks cool and it's so ridiculous that he has a massive bell.
Plague Surgeon, 50 points, that's down.
Okay, yeah. Fine.
I think it's going to be... We'll wait for... Okay, so Disgusting Aiden's... He says... Best 2 Virians went up, Justify Blood say. Plague Surgeon, Blight Lords and Blightbringer are all just awful, so points drops mean nothing. So they need a rules change then, pretty much, is what they need. Yeah. Plague Burst, yeah, at 180 hurts, and I'm not taking Blight Lords. Overall F. An overall F. Wow.
F. Wow. Savage.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, but he says he's make it work, and I'm sure he will.
He will make it work, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think, Death Guard just...
Not really changed.
They just need their codex, really, don't they? They need some fresh...
I don't think they're doing a codex for Death Guard, are they? Because nobody likes them.
Yes, exactly.
So...
Good point. Yeah.
What's the point?
What is the point? Aiden needs a codex.
Yeah.
And Aiden's nice.
Speaking of what's the point...
Deathwatch. So, Deathwatch veterans...
we got changes. Imagine that.
Well, you wanted it. You got it. So, Deathwatch veterans are down to 100 points for 5.
Okay, there's 10 points decrease. Nice.
Cool. All right.
Every little helps. Yeah.
Watch Captain Artemis is down to 65 points. He's basically free at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fine, whatever.
What did he do?
His ability was that you can use a stratagem on your unit even if someone else has used it.
Okay.
But I don't think I saw in an FAQ that they've fixed that, because currently as it's worded, you don't get the ability. You just don't get it.
He doesn't get an ability now?
Basically, no.
Until it's FAQ'd?
Or he can stand back up if he dies.
Okay.
Which is nice, I suppose.
4 wounds?
Yeah. So...
That's not too bad for 65 points.
He's worth some points, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's worth the points for a 4-up invulnerable save on a 32mm base that has...
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So he's, yeah. Watchmaster is down, nice. I think they're only down like a few points, but it's good to see some changes at least. Yeah, and Deathwatch veterans are battle line, so probably one of the best battle line units in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
maybe.
I'm very sad about the kill team changes though. There's literally no changes to kill teams.
In the Indomitor, kill team, Proteus, and Spectre.
If you look at our Terminators as well, 210. Well, normal Space Marines are paying 185 for 5 Terminators. Like, sure, we get 3 special weapons, but 210 is way too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That is a shame, really. It's a shame they're not getting a little bit more love on that, to be honest. Would have been nice to see them, a little bit more on the table. Because, I mean, I started this channel with Deathwatch, so my first ever channel army, Okay, cool. So, next up, we've got Drukhari now. Grotesques are down.
Cool.
We never saw them.
Yeah.
Back in 8th edition, where they were 18 Grotesques, was...
All with liquefiers, do you remember that?
That was 9th.
A few moments of 9th as well, yeah.
Ugh, grim. So yeah, it's good to see them come down. Scourges are up and down, and what I like about this is because you only get the good weapons for the first... 4, really.
The true.
Because your sergeant's terrible. He's just arbitrary wounds.
Yeah.
That's the first model to die. See you later, Sergeant! Get wrecked.
Oh, I really hope I don't get promoted. Or else I'm going to die next.
Because if someone's dying out of this transport,
You lose your gun.
I'll take it, okay?
Yeah. You lose your gun, you're the first in line to get shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
terrible.
Stand at the front, Sergeant. I'm on it. Cool.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been through all this fighting using that one weapon, now we're going to remove that weapon from you, even though you're the best person with it.
And here's a paperweight.
Here's a sharp stick.
I'll take it's too sharp.
Oh.
So, okay, Grotesque down, the Ravager down to 110.
Okay, yeah, that was punished because of Inari, I think.
Yes.
But with Eldar Nurse, I suppose, time to see whether it's okay now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, they've got the 2 detachments that have still stayed. Anything here that I think Hellions are overpriced, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few bits and bobs that are a bit overpriced. There was a FAQ change I can remember off the top of my head for Drukhari, actually, which was that I think it's the Kronos pain engine, lets you roll every time you spend pain tokens, and you can get them back. Now it's once per phase you roll.
Right.
For any number of tokens. It's a bit of a nerf there.
But Hellions, although they used to be an infantry with essentially a jump pack, they're now mounted. And I just don't think you're ever paying 170. I don't think you're ever just taking them, personally. I could be wrong.
It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
It is a difficult one.
Kabalites at 110, probably a bit expensive now.
Yeah.
100 points for 10 Kabalites is probably okay. Probably could do it with some drops there. We don't really see the jet fighters.
We don't see any aircraft, really.
No, I know the Void Raver bomber had a fair bit of play because of the mortal output it could do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there could be some other little drops in here.
Scourges have been very, very good in Aeldari armies, in Ari, because they can shoot and then move.
Yeah, they're just uninteractable. Exactly. And now with the change to indirect as well, it's going to be even harder to shift them. Yeah. So, because we're going to see less. I'm certainly not taking any Exorcist in Aiden's certainly not taking any Plague Burst Crawlers. So, but Guard, they love in the indirect right now. So, Black Knight has said, I think Firestorm got a buff with the Repulsor and Impulsor changes. The question is, do you run 2 Repulsors in Gladius and Firestorm? I think that all depends on, I know Black Knight plays Black Templars. So, yeah.
This is actually, and this is a side step. Firestorm, I think, is actually massively nerfed.
Really?
Yeah, because of the CP manipulation.
Right.
Because their best battle tactic was 2 CP.
And now it's going to cost you 1.
Now it costs you 1. Also, you can't repeat strats.
So you can't.
The best strats in there were like 2 different ones or 3. So you can't repeat +1 to wound. You can't repeat the Flamer one. You can't repeat Armor Contempt. And the rest required you to target 2 units, so you couldn't use the captain's ability. So, personally, Firestorm, bit dead, if I'm honest.
Right.
I'd rather play Gladius, because you get a similar kind of...
Well, Ironstorm now, down.
Yeah.
Do you know what could actually be increased when we're on we should wait for our Space Marine topic.
Okay.
But anyway. Right, Genestealer Cults.
Right, let me get up the old MFM, because that'll be changes based on the codex, won't it?
Yeah, so what you're seeing now in front of the codex change, the increases or decreases are based on the codex, not the last index, which is really the relevant points. So let's take a look at Aberrants. It says they haven't changed, but they're actually down 30.
Yes, 30 for 5, 60 for 10.
Right, the Abominant is 75, which is the same. Ridge Runners, 75.
They have stayed the same.
They've stayed the same. Acolyte Hybrids, well, obviously they've been split now into 2 different. So what's their points cost there?
So 85 was what they were before.
And now they're 70 to get you a free CP.
Yep, so that's the melee ones are 70, and the other ones are 75.
And the other ones are 75, yeah.
And the blasting charges did get massively nerfed, so
yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. Icon Ward is 60.
So up 10?
That's because he can give you a 4+ Verno Pain to your Metamorphs, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll see what Metamorph changes are. Acolyte Jackals, 90 points.
Haven't changed.
Okay, I mean, I don't feel like they're as good as they used to be.
Yeah, they've got a whole detachment, but I don't know how good it is, so
not great.
Difficult to...
Not great.
Fair enough.
Benefactus, 80.
That's the new model.
Yeah, so it's new points.
Yeah.
80 points for a...
Seems a lot, though.
It does seem a lot. Maybe 76, 65, 70.
Yeah.
Biophagus, 50.
Down 10, actually, from previously.
And actually, you do take the Biophagus, quite a good little unit with the Aberrants.
They don't have the anti-infantry 2+ anymore. They have +1 to wound, I think.
That's
against
only with
infantry.
its like 3 attacks.
No, because it used to give the whole unit anti-infantry 2+ once per game.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So now it's changed to just +1 to wound against infantry.
Right. Oh, before it was lethals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so they still give you lethals, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the Goliath Rock Truck 120. This has had a bit of a nerf,
So this
in my
is the
opinion.
grinder.
Yeah.
So it's gone down 10.
Yeah, it's had a bit of a nerf because it used to be quite good. You could go in, do mortals, tank shock, do mortals.
Right.
It doesn't do that anymore.
Okay.
The normal truck is 85.
So down 5.
Okay, and that's actually had a bit of a buff up, I think, with the reroll wounds. Metamorphs 80.
Unchanged.
Yeah, see, Metamorphs I think are the best unit in that in the Codex. Actually, I really do think they are. Yeah, so I think for me, that's where I'd be leaning into is 30 of those definitely.
Yeah, cool.
Jackal Alphas is 60.
Yeah, same here.
Calamorph is 60.
Up 5, but they are better now.
Yeah,
They
slightly.
can shoot and then move.
Locus 45.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Magus is 50.
Same.
Yeah. Neophyte 70.
They were 90 before.
So down 20.
Down 20, but their guns have changed.
Yes. Nexus 60.
Yeah, same.
Patriarch 85.
Same.
Primus 90.
Same.
And then obviously you've got the Purge Range Genestealers, which is 75.
Yeah, and the rest has stayed the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got all the enhancements. So although it looks like a lot's gone up and a lot's gone down, in fact, a lot of it stayed the same.
It's pretty much, yeah.
The only real units that have changed, I would say, are the Aberrants.
Yeah.
They're the biggest, where you can actually see some significant points drops. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, next up then, do we think...
I think they need help, Colt.
Yes.
But I think we can probably both agree it's their army rule.
It's the army rule that is a problem.
Because either you roll a 5 up or you don't get an army rule.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does not feel good.
No.
But equally, if you're playing against it and your opponent rolls loads of 5s, it doesn't feel good for them either.
You're all, I think as a Genestealer Cult player, you're always going to be like, well, I didn't roll enough 5s. And you don't want your game to be depending on this really, really impactful roll.
If I'd rolled a 5, I would have won.
Yes.
That kind of thing, right?
Because what you don't ever do then is look at how you've played. Even if they were perfectly balanced, it's just not a great mechanic, I don't think.
No, I agree.
Because it used to be they came up on a 2+, right? The battle line units, is that right? When they
3+.
when
it
they
was a
first
3.
ever came out.
Oh, it may have been a 2+, or they automatically did. Actually,
That was it.
I think they
yeah.
automatically did, and it was insane.
Yeah.
But I would love to see.
Maybe I think where they were and where they are just
It's
too polarizing, really.
But having a dice roll to bring an entire unit back is such a unbalanceable mechanic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I don't know how that can be fixed.
I don't know.
It's a tough one
Because you don't get the characters back,
No.
and a lot of the time it's the characters doing the work for you, the heavy lifting, because of the abilities that you've got.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a rules change, really, for me. That
Yeah, I think so. I think you just have to change the Cult Ambush rule.
they need like an admech, what they've done here in the future, potentially.
Yeah.
That's how I feel personally.
Maybe even a Shadow of Chaos sort of thing where they can deep strike closer would be quite cool.
Yeah.
Like with Chaos Demons.
Yeah, I think for me to get excited about playing GSC, that's what I'd want to see as a slight tweak to their Okay, Grey Knights.
Okay.
So, Crow's gone up to 90. I mean, a named character of a Space Marine, even at under 100 points, is probably okay. Like, 90 points for Crow is probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. He's
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Because there is a level of points where you're like, okay, this is an acceptable points cost for a character, maybe. Okay, cool. So, Grandmaster and Nemesis Dread Knight is up to 220. How much has that gone up by?
So the Dread Knights have both gone up.
Okay.
And, you know, on the competitive scene, Grey Knights has mostly been Dread Knights and Land Raider Redeemers.
Yeah. I've never really understood the Land Raider Redeemer.
I think it's just because it's got the... it's just loads of really high toughness, high armour saves. It's all 2-up saves.
It's like a stat check army.
It's a stat check army.
They have 2-ups.
And even though the Land Raiders can't teleport around the board, they're still incredibly difficult to shift. Their Overwatch is insane.
Yeah.
So a Grandmaster is 200.
So it's up 10.
Okay, that's really not that bad.
No.
And then the other guys are up 10 as well.
Okay. And everything else is. And obviously the Redeemer is up to 285, which I believe is a 20-point increase.
Yes, for the Grey Knights one.
Yeah, and then the Storm Raven is also up to 280. Obviously, they're probably to keep in line with the Crusaders come down.
Yeah.
They're free at this stage.
This is a prelude to the Space Marine changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, this is where I think we need to be really thinking about. And Grey Knights are very different to all other Space Marines because you don't take the Space Marine points; you have Grey Knight points.
280 points for a Grey Knight Storm Raven.
Not worth it.
Not worth it.
Because you can't Iron Storm it. You can't have Mercy as weakness. It doesn't really get any army rules.
What are you doing with that? That's
you're not
hurting people.
No. They could just be cheaper for this army in order to keep better, as we said earlier at the start of this, internal balance.
Yeah.
Rather than, I've got this amazingly painted Grey Knight Storm Raven, but I'm being punished because that shares my keyword over there, and it's got to be, does it need to be the same points? Let me know in the chat what you think. Does it need to be the same points for consistency? Yeah. Don't know. They can't take repulsors. Not that they really needed them because their deep strikey stuff's pretty good anyway. Their mobility of the army. No one's saying that Grey Knights are slow by any stretch. But yeah, I don't feel like maybe those changes were warranted. Potentially the Redeemer if people were taking 3.
Yeah.
But maybe it would have been nice to see some other things come down. Interceptors at 130.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we didn't see balanced data state changes affecting all psi cannons, rather than just the Dread Knight ones, something like that. But it is what it is.
Purifiers 125, Purgators are that unit you just mentioned at 130.
Yeah.
No one's taking them.
I don't think so.
No, their psi cannons are just not good. I mean, I look at 130 for five Purgators, and again, the others are going to have combat weapons.
They don't.
Nobody takes 10
Except the Sergeant, of course, who can't have the big weapon.
Yeah, but you're taking this unit to really shoot some stuff, and at 130, I think they're even worse than Retributors at 125.
Yes.
I'd rather have Retributors at 125.
Oh my God, didn't think you'd say that about any of these points.
Look, this balanced data slate is comparing everything to sisters, okay? That's what we should have named it, yeah. But I'm trying to be honest here in how I feel. I would never take that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, Imperial Knights.
I think this is mostly the same as Chaos.
Yeah.
For the Forge World stuff.
The Knight Paladin is down to 405.
I think that's the Battle Cannon fist one.
Battle Cannon sword.
Sword.
The classic.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
Some of the enhancers have gone down, so they might be worth looking at. They're probably to do with the bondsman abilities.
And we'll find out more tomorrow on Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights to really see the impact of this, which is why we've got that as a stream game tomorrow at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yeah. Right, Leagues of Votann. No changes. Apart from one stealth change.
Yes.
Secret entry. And what is it, Michael?
Hernkin Jaegers.
Right.
So 10 models, 80 points.
I'm paying 100 for mine. What is this?
I personally think this is very cheap. So this is the new Kill Team Terminatus box set, Leagues of Votann unit. They have Infiltrate, which is hugely impactful. I'm sure Jake's talked about it before. But being able to infiltrate when a lot of your army has a scout rule means that you're definitely going to be able to scout.
Yeah.
So it's very impactful. 10 models that infiltrate for 80 points that are toughness 5. I think 80 is a little cheap, but
it's
Jake's not here, so I'm allowed to say that. I'm losing my handsome pass if he's here.
Is it because you said little?
No, it's because I said they were too cheap.
You said it was a little cheap.
Ah, I see, right.
And I didn't know if that was because you couldn't say that in front of Jake.
Fair enough, yeah.
Because he's very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'1" as he tells everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe when he's on top of those lighthouses.
I think he's also a man in finance. Yeah. Anyway, so, yes, they're very cheap. I think for the effect that's going to have now on the army, like you said, you can't now get move blocked. If you get that first drop, you literally just go, cool, bang, straight out in a line. You know what I said earlier about you always put them from terrain?
Yeah.
You don't with this unit. You spread them right out. You give it the classic bone, okay? 2 on each end, string them out as far as you can and go, right. Infiltrators, jog on, okay? You can...
Yes.
And now, all your Sagittars go...
Yeah.
And they go...
and then your opponent's like,
oh my god, I'm getting shot. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, great change for Leagues of Votann, despite nothing going up or down.
Yeah.
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 You just having, it was like you were seeing visions of Votann.
They could actually be the stealthiest winner
I mean, they could
of the
be.
balanced data slate.
They actually could be, yeah. Because they've had no
changes,
really. They've just gained an infiltrating unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All their devastating wounds that they did was single damage anyway.
It's single shots, yeah. 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 They didn't have any strat manipulation anyway, so that's kind of
irrelevant. Mute point.
But I suppose that they can be affected by
other stratagems being for free.
Other stratagems being increased as well, their own stratagems being increased.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting.
And their troops aren't bad for the Nexus. And obviously the Sagittars split them all in half anyway.
Yeah, I think they're, interesting. I think they're in a good place actually.
I think Votann. And
very interesting.
Yeah.
Stephen is considering short boys.
Yes. Okay, Necrons. Only 2 changes, Michael.
Okay, but they are quite important changes.
Yeah, the Doomstalker's up to 145.
That was 135?
Yeah.
Jake was very surprised at how good these were when George used them against him.
Right, let's compare it to a Predator.
Okay. I thought you were going to say something Sisters related and I was going to cry.
Or a Castigator.
Okay, fine.
This thing has a 4+ invulnerable save.
Yeah.
That is, can you name a vehicle with a 4+ invulnerable save?
Triarch Stalker?
Okay.
Doomsday Ark?
Anything that's not Necron related? An Imperial Knight if it rotates its shields?
Yeah, not really, no.
Mentally powerful.
It is. And like the downside is it's toughness 8, so it's easier to wound with a lot of weapons.
If you just save it.
But
roll a 4.
If you just roll a 4,
you don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird because the type of weaponry you'd normally use against a vehicle, you don't actually want to use against these guys.
No.
You want to use like your strength 5, strength 6, lots of shots, rather than your las cannons. But they're very, very powerful. They're a bit swingy, which is why they're not like 200 points.
They Overwatch on 5s as well, though, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
and I know you love Overwatch.
I love it. And favourite rule.
It's so good.
Definitely, let's keep it. Canoptic Wraiths going up.
It's about time, isn't it?
It is about time
it's
they
about
went up.
Time.
Yeah.
I could have seen 3 being cheaper than 6.
Yes,
I'd
agreed.
love to see a lot more of these different
variant
size things because I actually think Necron's units, if you can take more, they should cost more.
Yeah.
For that, point per point.
Well, it's like I've sort of said before, 5 swooping hawks is more efficient than 10.
Yeah.
Because you don't take swooping hawks for doing damage. You do swooping hawks to fit in small little gaps with using the up and down rule.
Yeah.
So now you're taking 10, you're actually increasing the base size of that unit of where it can fit, so now it won't be able to fit in so easily. So I agree. I think if Wraiths were maybe 115 for 3, but 260 for 6.
Yep. Agreed.
Now, hopefully, we've seen a bit of a step in the right direction here with the Scourges, right?
Yeah.
So maybe over time we'll start to see this to go like, okay, 250 or whatever is right for Wraiths, maybe for 6.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
But nobody's taking 3s. Why is that? Well, they're 2. No, 2. Well, let's bring that down then. And hopefully over the course of this edition, we'll see that happen, just get refined, where we have greater internal balance, where you're like, I've bought a box of 3 Wraiths. I don't want to have to feel like I have to go buy another 3.
Yeah, which you currently do.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You might be like, cool, because that's where, like people's comments of like, yo, competitive 40k is like killing all the rest of it. And I kind of get it. I kind of see the point to some degree.
Yeah.
Because competitively speaking, 6 is better than 3.
Yeah.
But GW needs to help out those collectors that just have 3 and go, cool, well, they're 115. Because we know they're not as good.
Yeah, exactly.
We know the strat support, we know that the mechanic of the army isn't going to be as great.
Yeah.
So let's help it out a little bit.
It's like Necron Warriors, right? Like, you don't really see them. And 10 for 100 points is ridiculous. Because they don't really do anything. But 200 for 20, okay, a bit more acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, there's not really any other changes. Obviously, Balanced Data Slate did affect them.
But I mean, even 100. Let's be real here. 10 Battle Sisters makes 115, just to keep it in line with the current rest of the.
They're better than 10 Necron Warriors, though, aren't they? Like a lot better.
You might be right.
Yeah.
What do they even do?
Better at coming back if they're dead.
Oh, okay.
But obviously, if there's only 10, then
they're not coming back.
They're not coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was a nerf to Necrons, actually. It's in FAQ. And some of the core rules changes. But basically, if you've got a ability that requires you to complete 2 different things to get a final ability, you do have to complete both. So with these destroyers, Locust Destroyers, they used to get reroll 1s to hit against the closest enemy unit, reroll all hits against an enemy unit on an objective marker. Previously, they ruled that you didn't have to have both in play. Now it's ruled that you do. So your destroyers don't get rerolls unless it's the closest edible target and they're on an objective.
Right.
And the same goes for a lot of the stratagems in the book as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
do look out for that if you're a Necrons player.
Didn't even know that. I'm glad you've told me.
Stealth nerf.
Right, Orks up next. We've only got a few left to cover. But Orks. So Boss Nikrot's gone up to 95 points, probably justified. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
A lone we were all saying that he probably goes in every list, and he probably still does if you want a good mission playing piece.
Yeah, agreed.
The Pain Boss has gone up to 70, and so's the Pain Boy. The Pain Boss was the one that went with Beast Naggers.
That's right.
I don't know why that's gone up, personally. The Pain Boy going up to 80 now, the Green Tide has been significantly changed. I don't know what he's gone up by. Hopefully it's just 5.
I think it's about 15 points. So I think it was 65 or 70 before. 70, so I think 10 points. I mean, you now need them because the 6-up Invuln's not good enough.
Yeah.
And you want to get that unit above 20.
Yeah.
Above 10 rather.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to, really, but yeah.
Is it warranted? We'll find out. The Weird Boy's also gone up, which doesn't need to necessarily go up because of the change to the stratagem.
Yeah.
And if the stratagem would have remained the same, then you put the Weird Boy up to 100 points. If you want to do that crazy +5 on the charge.
Yeah.
So I feel like...
I think you might still see Weird Boys as mission pieces because they can teleport themselves.
Yeah, and just
then
do
score stuff. So maybe that's why they've done it.
Yeah. But fundamentally changing the role of the use of the unit, right?
Yeah.
Mega Knobs. Okay, so can you bring up the Mega Knobs points?
So they were 30 each.
Right, now they're 40 each.
But they have a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Instead of a 4-up. I think Mega Knobs are only oppressive in one detachment.
I think at 40 each, they've probably been priced out of the other detachments.
I agree.
I'm actually a bit sad about that.
I am.
I think they could have stayed the same. They didn't need the double nerf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look,
insert SAG song for Mega Knobs at this stage,
Yeah,
and I agree. I think we've seen this now with, and let us know in the comments, chat, if you agree. Are these like double nerfs effectively, too much?
Yeah.
We've seen it now with essentially Ironstorm. We've seen it with, in terms of Black Templars, we've seen it with Sisters. We've seen it now with Orks. We've seen it with the Chaos Warp Talons.
Yep.
I don't know.
I also think Orks is another situation, and I saw someone mention in the chat, like, why are tank busters still the cost that they are? Like,
yeah,
if a unit is too good and people are spamming it, then maybe it's not just that unit's too good, but actually that other units are just too bad.
Yeah.
And burner boys, where are they?
Yeah.
Like your tank busters, as this guy said, where are they?
Yeah. That's it. It's not just having this like polarizing approach of, for example, this army's too good, so let's not put anything down. I think it's about, really making sure that, all units have greater internal balance, like you've said.
Yeah.
So Mr. Morner said, in all honesty, joking aside, the only thing Jiva should have nerfed SOB is Miracle Dice rules. 40k is based on chance. SOB new dice rule felt wrong. They've always had it, would be my response to that. They always had it. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I think this is probably where we can agree to disagree, because I also don't like the fixing dice thing. I would have loved to see like some other way of representing miracles on the table would have been really nice.
Yeah.
but I don't know exactly how
what that looks like.
What that looks like, you know.
Yeah, because we're all, you know, I think there's certain things that where you want to take out the chance is, for me, like on a charge roll. Like I used to like playing back in the day, you know, when Space Marines had Emperor's Children in the Codex.
Yes.
And they had like a stratagem called like Honour the Prince. And you could go, okay, well, I want this charge to happen. I'm going to put a 6 in. You could still roll a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
It could still happen. So there was a chance, but you're just taking out that degree where you think, okay, I can actually deep strike and do something here.
Yeah.
Putting it on certain things like a hit or a wound roll isn't too bad, but it can get a bit crazy when it's like a damage roll or even sometimes a saving throw on certain units. So I think there's those elements of...
I think there's an opportunity actually to do something like miracle points, and then you can spend the points a bit like pain tokens in a way, where you like +1 to hit for your unit if you spend a point, or +2 to your charge roll if you spend a point here.
Yeah,
that
or like Cabal jobbers, whatever.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So anyway, I think the dice manipulation side of stuff is Sisters have always been a good army in good hands, but then normally fall short. So we'll see how they... And I'm going to keep going with them, and I'm going to see what I can do.
Good.
I'm just not excited to play the army as much as I was, because I feel like I'm being shoehorned, and that's what I don't want to feel like I'm being pushed into a detachment because of the cost of the points. Yeah. I want to feel like probably yourself in the Warp Talons and the rest of it. Yeah. You want to play your favourite detachment and not be penalised if you do so. So, look, Space Marines here. Gladiator Reaper's gone up, the Valiant's gone up, the Redeemer's gone up. I don't think the Gladiator Reaper and the Valiant needed to go up. They were probably, as we said earlier, with the...
I mean, they are very good.
Yeah, true.
They are very good.
But is the Valiant... What's it got?
It's an interesting one, the Valiant, right? Because it's only sort of recently become more of a competitive pick. And I actually think it's more of a counter to things like Mega Nobs.
Yes, it has
kind of where it's come in.
And the Canoptic Court.
And the Wraiths and stuff. But at the same time, it's a lot of guns. It's a Space Marine tank.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. So I can kind of get behind it. As I said before, you know, we don't want too many vehicles in the game. And if this means an Ironstorm list is not 9 gladiators, but 8, then that's something at least. Yes. Yeah. The Land Raider Crusader's come down. The Land Raider Redeemer's gone up. The normal Land Raider, yes, has stayed the same. Okay, cool. Slight win there. Cool. The Repulsor is down, though. Mad. 180. So it's gone down 20 points. And had its transport capacity changed. That's pretty viable now. Yep, I'm glad I've got 2. Storm Raven's gone up to, 280? Weird, isn't it, the Storm Raven? You know, because it's in every list, but the Iron Storm. I won an event at the local Partisan Games, right? Yeah. And I was saving up these vouchers, and I bought a Storm Raven. You didn't? And I've sprayed it green. You haven't? And I tried it a couple of times. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Really can't wait to use this. Yeah. I've not touched it since, because it went up 10 points, and now suddenly it's gone up another 20 odd points. Right. I'm just like, well, why would I use that in Firestorm ever? You're not. What's the point? Is again that detachment system is killing the vibe, right? Yeah. I would love to see personally. I think we're pointed detachments. I think we have to. You know, if you take this detachment, it costs this much plus 10 points per unit or something. Yeah. Like that, right? I think we're going to get to that point where we... Well, I think it has to, personally. That'd be my opinion anyway. That is just my opinion. Well, like Penitent Host, to use this as an example, Penitent units cost plus 10 points per unit. Something like that, right? So that if you're taking Penitent units in the Penitent detachment, they cost more, but they don't for anybody else. Bully Boys, Mega Nobs units cost 40 points per model. Yeah. Something like that. Or just like a keyword-based system. Yeah. Or you just pay for the detachment. Yeah. That's probably the easiest thing. I suppose. So like if Gladius is like 20 points to play Gladius, I don't know. Yeah. It's a difficult one. Yeah, let us know if you have any thoughts in while you're watching this. Because I think if you want to pay the first company, that detachment's free. You get 20 extra points to spend on stuff. Yeah, so minus 20 points if you play first company. You get to play 2,020 points. But that could actually start to be the change that's maybe needed. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I'm just throwing ideas at you. You guys in the chat are much more intelligent than we are, so I'm sure you guys will have
collectively a much better, view on it. We're just, two people here in some really cool swag. So yeah. Next up, we've got Space Wolves.
Okay.
Thunderwolf Cavalry have gone up.
Yeah, I mean, they were hitting the competitor scene pretty hard. I think they did very well across the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
Putting people in what people are terming wolf jail, where they kind of pen them in with all of these wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Which is quite apt, actually,
Yeah.
Of how they should work. But yeah, they've gone up a bit. It is a shame because their damage output isn't great. And I think that's more of a rules change for those guys.
How much have they gone up by? 10?
Yeah, just 10.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
100 points for 3. I mean, you're looking at, 20 more points than Blade Guard? No, 10 more points than Blade Guard. And then 20 more points for 6-man.
Yeah.
Wolfen gone up slightly.
So this probably is justified because in the last data slate they got an extra damage and stuff, but they didn't change in points.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're OC 0, so now they can't do any actions and stuff.
But you don't want to be wasting your time with actions on Wolfen, do you? You want to be smashing stuff in the face, so they're still good at the thing they were good at. Right, Tau. There's a lot of green here.
There's a bit too much green, actually.
Yes. So broadsides are down.
Yeah, to 90 again, which I think was their pre-codex points.
Yes.
Pre-codex and, update points.
Commander in Cold Star Battlesuit is down.
Okay.
Commander in Enforcer Battlesuit is down. Then all the battlesuits are down. How much have they gone down by?
A lot. So the Fire Knife in the codex is 165.
Down 35
It's 130 points.
Down by 35 points.
Yeah, I think they dropped a little bit when they did drop the actual codex, but it's gone down still.
Sunforge 150.
Star Scythe 110.
Are these the
Flamer burst cannon guys?
Oh yeah.
110 is madness. Sunforge 150. They're still around similar points to what they were before.
Okay.
But those crisis suits going down.
Strike teams are down to 75 points.
Yeah, fair enough. You didn't really see them over breaches.
And then Hammerhead 145's gone up.
Okay, fine.
Because the Iron one was doing some work.
Yeah.
Tau could be. I mean, Tau were a good faction.
Well, the thing is now with the Pariah Nexus Bring It Down change, right? You're giving up a lot less points for Bring It Down. So actually, when you're looking at these units, okay, yeah, Crisis unit of 3 giving up what 2 points for Bring It Down?
Yeah.
Take loads.
Happy days.
Why not?
Go nuts.
Stick 3 Star Scythe units in reserve.
Yes. I mean, the stealth team stayed the same as well, didn't they? Which is interesting because now with the not Vespid, what was the thing everyone was taking? Tetras.
Yes.
They're not in here, are they anymore?
No.
So
they are dead.
But the stealth suits bringing in a bit of that extra heat back is good. So I think Tau could be looking pretty good. Right, now, 1,000 Suns. We've seen some huge changes across the board. The Vortex Beast is down, because nobody really played that, apart from Mubin. And he tried to take 3 against me, and I was like, Mubin, come on, let's not do that. Is he? Yeah. Mubin, he'll be happy. It's 150, mate. So, we've also got the Exalted Sorcerer on disc. Down. Okay. Well, we've seen his ability change.
His ability changed.
Yeah, in 105 for a character that's normally running around by itself to slow you down is cool.
Exactly, and this guy was the one that you were triggering multiple rituals on, so now that you can't do that...
But this is what I like. I like this kind of approach of, hey, we're going to nerf a rule that's either fundamentally terrible or too strong, but equally look at it on the other side to go, well, what's the points value of this? What should it be? And they should marry up, not... how I feel about Bully Boys is nerf on the rule. Yeah, great decision. Points increase, not needed.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Same for Warp Talons, I think. Right, Scarab Cult Terminators. How much are they down by? Because they're 190 for 5, 380 for...
Down 10.
Okay.
Down 10. So they were 200.
They were all right.
Yeah, they're okay.
I mean, they're not as bad as Wet Noodles, but...
I would love to see them back in the game a bit more.
They're cool models.
Because they're very cool models. They're very thousands. Well, they're basically one of the 2 Space Marine units that thousands have, right? Rubrics or them.
Rubrics, right? I like what they've... I like this, what we've seen with Genestealer Cult. This kind of... You got Flamer unit, you got other unit. Because nobody's taking bolt guns on Rubric Marines. You just take Flamers, they're just better in every day of the week. Which really then limits your option. With such quite frankly small model range anyway. So Magnus has stayed the same, probably fine. He's very good.
Yeah, we can't triple move him anymore, so
Okay, that's helped a bit,
fine.
yeah. Cool, so I think that'll be interesting to see how they pay out. Right, next up is Tyranids.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know a lot more about this than me. Biovols have come down.
Yeah, down 25 points. And this is because the Spore Mines are OC 0, so the Spore Mines can't action.
Oh, because before you could just shoot a Spore Mine off and do a teleport homer.
Yes.
Now you can't do that.
Now you can't do that.
Which is good for the game.
It certainly is.
Not great for Tyranids.
No.
But good for the game overall.
Yeah, so you still take them. Like, to everybody saying, like, oh, you can't do actions, so you don't bother. You still count for engaging all fronts. You still count for behind enemy lines. You can still stop people advancing.
Yeah.
You're less likely to die from enemy indirect, so those matchups are less worse for you. You definitely still take them because you can score other points with them still, and it's super cheap, sits on your home objective, so
yeah,
still viable.
Okay. Mucular Spores, same reason. They're just bigger.
Yeah, they're just bigger.
Neurolictor's gone up to 90.
Okay, so it did now gain synapse, and it does keep triggering battle shocks and stuff, so I suppose, yeah.
Was it needed though?
Probably not.
Like
It's, yeah.
For how many units have changed of
Yeah.
Tyranids? Probably could have been left the same, right? To see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
Rippers, the one model's gone up, I'm assuming by 5 points, because one's 25, 2 is 40, and 3 is 50.
Yeah.
So one's come up, one's come down. What were people using Rippers for?
Just deep strike, do an action. Obviously it's OC 0, so it can't do actions anymore, but it can be in different areas of the board.
Right. So like engaging all fronts or behind enemy lines?
Yeah, that's essentially what it's there for.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, not bad.
It's okay.
It's all right for 25 points. You've got 25 points left in your list.
Yeah, just chuck it in.
Turvagon, down to 175.
Nice, yeah. Justified, I think.
And obviously a lot of the other units have had a boost, right? Like we said, the Hive Tyrants have had a bit of a boost.
And the free strap thing is going to be big. Yeah.
Vanguard Onslaught looks like one of the enhancements has come down. And it's good to see that these other units that have gained those keywords haven't gone up in price.
Yes.
So although they're better in one detachment, it's not like they've been locked out the others. So, cool.
So the enhancement, really quickly, was the redeploy.
Right.
We are going to go into redeploys a lot more in the next video.
Yeah.
We're talking about core rules changes, so bear with us for that one. But
right, we've got a super chat. Let's get it, $5. Ruin movement updated to allow Imperial Primarchs and Call to be able to move through them. Will that be able to get them on the board? Well, we've already talked about Call. He's already now probably an auto include.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's pretty awesome anyway.
Lion 100%. Lion is a big winner.
Yeah.
From being able to walk through walls.
Well, and also the change to how devastating wounds are going to change. And we're going to be talking about all the new rules changes in our next live stream, which is going to be happening in probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we've just got World Eaters to cover. We're going to have a quick break, then we'll be back to cover all the new rules, and we'll probably finish that with our final takes. I will stop being salty about Sisters. Make it more of a balanced overview of the balanced data slate.
Yeah, cool.
There you go.
Sounds good.
But, you know, I think a little bit of that is okay. Just shows our passion.
Yeah, the passion.
And the faith.
And the faith.
Now, I've got passion.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and have faith.
Yeah.
Right.
You know who else has passion?
Who's got passion?
World Eaters.
They do. They are passionate about killing things. And let's see if their points drops are going to help them. 8-bound, 140. I think they're 150.
Okay. Cool. So you can get 10 points in the list. Great.
Yes.
Okay.
World Eaters. Yeah, so let's have a little look at them. 8-bound were sorry, Michael. They've gone down 5 points, 8-bound.
Oh, okay.
And Exalted 8-bound have come down 10 points for 6. So they've 8-bound are down 5 points for 3 or 10 points for 6.
Okay. All of the 8-bound down 5 points per model.
So I can squeeze in my list that I had quite a lot of 8-bound, to be fair.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 25, 35 points I've gained.
Right.
What can I spend that on?
Well,
Can I take some spawn?
no. Too expensive, my friend.
Take jackals?
No.
Alright.
You're going to have to drop an 8-bound unit to take something else. Which is not really the point of the points, is it? You have to drop a unit to now take a different unit, but that's what you're looking at.
I could drop my jackals.
Okay.
If I drop my jackals now,
Yeah. You could get some berserkers instead.
I could upgrade 10 jackals
To 5 berserkers.
to 5 berserkers. Right. Meta is not going to see this coming. The competitive landscape is going to be taken by storm.
Corn Berserkers.
And on that note, we'll see you on part 3, where we're going to be covering all of the new rules changes.